Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Oh, did you hear that?
What
Listen,
was the?
that's your body talking. Try and tell you something. Unfortunately, most of us don't hear it because we don't understand the language that our body is
Yes.
speaking to us. And
Yes.
many times it's telling us, giving us clues as to what's going on. It's also saying, hey, I need you to help me heal. And we all, dramatic pause, we all have things that we need to heal from. If you think you don't, you're not being honest, or maybe you don't even know yet. So we're going to
That's
talk
right.
about that today. She is wonderful in what she does to help people with many different modalities. She's a certified body talk trainer, practitioner, a certified nutritional counselor. She's a master herbalist, lots of modalities under her belt. And we're going to help you heal today. Dr. Jacquilen Thomas Ali joins us here on the program. How you doing today?
Oh, absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Steve, for having me. I'm really, truly excited and looking forward to this.
I am too. And I've studied energy. It's an ongoing journey. But this
Uh-huh.
thing, body body talk practitioner, tell me about that. I have some ideas in terms of how it works and how it may be connected to other modalities, but essentially, what is it?
Body talk is an energy consciousness-based system that allows the practitioner to connect with the energy within our body because we are energy beings. And we're trained to use applied kinesiology to get that connection so that we can ask the body, where does it need assistance in healing? Because our body knows how to heal. It's just at times it needs help. And that's
Hmm.
what symptoms are all about. It's the body's way of saying, hey, I need some help. Can you help me? And for the most part, we hear the symptoms when we feel pain or discomfort. But in many other times, we sort of just keep going and it's okay, we'll make it work. And because that's kind of how we have programmed ourselves to do and to be.
Yeah. And by the time you're seeing the symptoms, I don't want to say it's too late at all. It's not, uh, usually. But when you're already seeing the symptoms, your body's yelling at that point. Now it's saying,
Yes,
I gotta get your attention.
yes.
Do you feel that a lot of the physical challenges that we go through, some of them even disease, come from things that we deal with, but we don't realize it. We just chalk it up to it showed up. Oh, it's genetics. Oh, and all of that. But no, there's more going on here.
Absolutely. And that's one of the key reasons why I was so attracted to and really I really enjoyed doing body talk. I'm going to be honest with you. And one of the key reasons why I enjoy it is because the focus is not the symptoms, it's what's causing it, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, environmental, and it's a matter of having that information brought to the surface so that the body can say, all right, now that the real cause of this is made known, let's take the steps needed to heal and balance.
Hmm. Is body talk or does body talk use muscle testing?
Yes, it's we call it and I think the clinical name is applied kinesiology.
Okay.
But the regular everyday name is muscle testing. And it's a matter of establishing the language of yeses and nos
Hmm.
so that when we ask the body what's going on, the body has a language in which it can communicate. Now, when I do a session, one of the other things that I enjoy about it is that it keeps my ego out of it in terms of I'm not guessing or diagnosing or things like that. I have a chart that I
Hmm.
use to help me find out from the body where it wants to go, and the body will prioritize. So the human part of us wants to go to where we're feeling the pain and discomfort. But with body talk, the priority may be in something else totally different, an emotional part that has everything to do with the physical. So let's bring balance to that emotional part, even if it means releasing unwanted emotions. And I'm just using that as an example. Releasing them, the unwanted emotions, so that the body says, all right, now the way is clear. Let me do what I need to do. And it
Hmm.
focuses on the underlying cause, which then addresses symptoms.
True or false?
Yes,
The body doesn't lie.
correct, true.
So when we do
True.
this thing called muscle testing, which, and I'd love, us to walk through this, but I would imagine that's one of the initial things you do when you work with somebody with body talk, to ask true or false questions of somebody, and then using this muscle testing, and maybe we can do an example of that. Um, the body is going to say, That's what's going on. Yes, I'm trying to tell you that's what it is," because you you can't what's the best word, fool your body in asking it.
Correct, correct. And that's one of the things that I appreciate, that I can't manipulate it to be what I think or want it to be. The
Hmm.
body will in its way, because with the applied kinesiology, the key is establishing the language of yes and no, because you're asking the body the questions. Yes, is this it? Or no, it's not it. And then the body is able to give the answer that really addresses what's going on, and that keeps my ego out of it. I show the body what what will be, if the answer is yes, this is how you're going to show it. If the answer is no, this is how you're going to show it. But I don't say you're going to say yes to this or you're going to say no to that. The body has its way of clarifying it. And that's one of the key reasons why I enjoy it and love it so much.
I wonder if you can use, okay, let me back up.
Okay.
It's my belief that we have the answer inside of us.
Hmm.
Everything we want to know,
Hmm.
everything you need to know,
Yes.
it's inside.
Yes.
Your body, we know the answer. We just can't
Yes.
hear it. We don't want to hear it sometimes. We don't trust our intuition and such.
Yes.
Can you use body talk? Let's say you need to make a decision. I'm going down a rabbit hole here, but I've always
Go
wondered about
ahead.
this.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So let's say you're trying to make a decision. It's choice A or choice B. Doesn't matter what it is. Choice A, choice B, and you you try to listen to your intuition, and maybe you're hearing something, but logic gets in the way and
The
your head gets
human
in the way.
stuff.
Exactly. Or
Yes.
I believe many times the answer is easy. You already there. Oh, it's choice. I know it's choice. No, it can't be that easy. Let me use logic. Let me complicate that, and now you go for choice B, and you pick the wrong choice. So, can you use muscle testing, applied kinesiology, whatever you want to call it, to really pull the answer out?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Hmm.
And when I studied to be a naturopath, one of the things that I studied was kinesiology, both regular kinesiology as well as applied. I had no idea that I was going to be involved with body talk. So I used the kinesiology for myself for everyday living. So I established the language of yes and no. First, I learned how to do it using my whole body, where if I stood straight up and I said to my body, show me yes, show me yes. And what would happen is the body would lean forward.
Oh, you're doing
And
a sway.
that
You're
would,
doing a sway test.
yes, and
Mm.
then show me no, and then my body would lean back. And I would use that if I were going to the supermarket and say, should I buy this, should I get some of that? And one time I did that, and one of the customers saw me, and she came over and she says, Miss, are you okay? And it was at that point that I realized what was how it looked from the outside, and told her, yes, I'm fine, I'm okay. Please accept my apology, and whatever was appropriate at that time. So what I had to do then was to develop another way, and so therefore I programmed my fingers to get the yeses and nos, so that yes is I rub my two fingers together, and if the movement is smooth, that's yes. And if the movement is rough, that's no. Now, I could have programmed it the other way, but for me, that was confusing. Some people are able to program it where they are able to use their fingers like this, where one finger is on top of the other, and they can get yeses and nos that way. But for me, I
Hmm.
get clearer responses when I rub my thumb and my index finger together.
Wow.
And when it's smooth, that's yes. And when it's rough or when it sticks, that's no. So if I have to make a decision about something and I'm not sure, because the human part, the head and all of that gets in the way,
Yep.
I pull out the fingers and I say, all right. And I'll get the yeses and nos, and then I'll pause, and then I'll come back 5 minutes later, ask it again, for reassurance. And it has always worked out for me, and I'm
Wow.
grateful for that.
Wow. I gotta get on that. I've tried the sway test.
Uh-huh.
I've done the I don't know what this test is, but if you do the OK sign and then you
Yes.
put your index finger inside the OK
Yes.
circle and you try to break the chain, the link, um, and you get a baseline by saying, my name is Joe, and then you try to break it. Usually you can pretty much break the chain. You can feel it giving way. But if you do a true statement, my name is Steve, it's locked in.
Yes. Yes.
I try to not overthink it. And then, because I want to get that baseline. So I'm like, all right, hold tighter because your name is Steve. Hold tighter. Um, I sometimes don't, especially the sway test. I'm like, am I swaying forward for the yes or the no? Or I'm swaying back. How do you get to that point where you're at, where you got it, you figured it out, you trust it, and you don't overthink it like I'm talking?
I understand. I understand. I understand. And the only way, as far as I have, with me and my experiences, practice, practice, practice
Hmm.
in different scenarios, different things. And in fact, people that I trust, I would tell them or ask them to say certain things that and not tell me whether it's true or not. And I would say, yes, that's true based on the rub of my fingers, or no, it's not. Now, what you were talking about in terms of the thumb locking, yes, that's applied kinesiology. That's it. And that's the beauty of it, that it's not just one way,
Yep.
that there's several ways, because we are energy beings housed in this body and can utilize the different areas and different parts of the body to get the responses that really truly answer. But from my experience, the way to get it was practice, practice, practice.
Hmm.
And when I was able to really establish what I really trusted, and it took time. It took
Yep.
time. That's why I would invite other practitioners and just regular, everyday friends and family and whatever. I would ask them, and that really gave me the reassurance that the response that I was getting was
Yep.
correct.
Well, even talking with you, I kind of put it to the side. I used to mess with it a while ago.
Uh-huh.
I'm going back to it, and the rubbing of the fingers. I think that's going to work for me. I don't know why. Something tells
Mm-hmm.
me, but there's all different methods. But essentially, you're doing the same thing internally. Your body is
Yes.
telling you something. Now, when you do these different tests with people that you work with, and it gives you information about what's going on in the body, can you give us some examples of those things that the information that you might get, or maybe you've gotten from somebody, we don't know who they are. It's all confidential. What have you gotten? What have you found? What is somebody else's body has told you?
Okay, now let me also preface this by saying that there's another part to body talk that is crucial in terms of getting the accurate alignment and response. Um, in that energetically with body talk, there's like three energetic brains: head brain, heart brain, and gut brain. And many times people, you have now really begun to use and trust their gut brain a little bit more,
Hmm.
but without knowing, and sometimes they don't need to know, but I explain to my clients when they come that behind the scenes, the gut brain and the heart brain are having a conversation, and the heart helps to keep the balance and the love in there, so that when the person is having a session, whatever comes up, I'm going to tap the head brain, heart brain, gut brain to bring balance and to let the information be shared with the other parts of the body. So things that may come up for a person, um, releasing unwanted emotions, that comes up a lot. And to be honest with you, I haven't the foggiest idea how the body does it, but I don't need to know. I just know that it does, and the person is able to share with me once we're finished the whole session how they're feeling. And the good news about body talk is that when we're finished a session, everything doesn't just stop right then and there. It goes on after the person leaves and is going on living their life. So releasing unwanted emotions. Sometimes, now I'm going to hear something else that could also be may also come up. There are certain affirmations that the person may need to say, and I have some sample affirming statements. Also, the person may need to include some crystals. They may need to do some exercising. It's just so many different things. Balancing out, clearing out, opening the chakras. It's just so many things, and that's why I enjoy it.
Hmm. Wow. Um, like you said before, and for anybody, it's like, all right, well, we're talking about all this stuff, but she doesn't even know how the body does it, why it does it. Okay, all right, doctors, why do we get cancer?
You know
I'll
what?
be waiting for the
It's
answer.
No, but it's interesting that you say that, because my mother, father, and husband all had cancer at the same time. And this was before I was studying to be a naturopath. And I was able to see it from the outside in, and then I also did some volunteer work at a cancer organization. But what it's from my observations and my working with it, it's a combination of the diet, what the person eats, also the emotions, especially anger, frustration, also in the if depending on the environment. Like for example, with my father, he had lung cancer, but he worked at the Philadelphia Naval Yard where he was exposed to asbestos, and that had, and as well as him smoking cigarettes, and that was a criteria. With my mother, she had colon cancer, and the colon is the organ that releases and eliminates waste. But one of the things that she did, two things rather, she did that helped me to understand the basis for it was of her eating habits, as well as when we had conversations, she would talk about and repeat things that happened 15, 20 years ago. And that was the nature of her conversation. She wouldn't let it go. She wouldn't release it.
Wow.
And I'm like, yeah, wow, wow.
Does your intuition tell you, not just your family members, but in general, if we didn't have all of that happening at once, that people probably wouldn't get sick or as sick? For example, yes, if you eat in certain things or your environmental issues, as you
Hmm.
said, can cause cancer. Okay. Would it necessarily just do it on its own? Or are we adding other things to it, like in your mom? And I totally get it. We all,
Yeah,
marinate on stuff from the past. You get together with friends, you still, have one of those
that's
sessions where you're
absolutely.
venting.
That's a great question. And I don't want to say it's hard to answer, but it's hard to answer because we have free will. And we can do whatever we decide to do at any point in time in our lives. And it's not a matter of you better, you gotta, you must. The person themselves has to have that desire to do things differently, and whatever motivates or is the catalyst for that desire is different for each person.
Wow. Um, we're out of time. I could just keep going here. But this is
Okay.
stuff that all of us deal with, and
Hmm.
using body talk modality can help us figure out. And really, what comes down to is it's like you are giving somebody a cell phone to their body, and now they
Yeah.
can hear what their body is saying. They're getting the
Yes.
call. You doing, kinesiology and muscle testing and such. Dr. Ali, how does somebody find you?
Okay. My website is earthlyessence.life. And that's where it has the information about Body Talk. And as well, if a person wants to schedule, they can schedule on that as well. And my telephone number is area code 215-360-4110.
I don't need to use muscle testing, kinesiology to know that you're phenomenal.
Oh,
You
thank
are
you.
so genuine and know your stuff. And I was exposed to this in the past, but you brought it layers deeper in terms of understanding and just I'm going to be doing the finger rubbing thing and testing that out because I've never, and I think that I feel that that's going to be the one for me where I can
Yeah,
interpret the yes and the no. I'll go back to
absolutely.
the sway test again. I'll give that a try.
Yeah.
Different time. That was then. This is now. You know, it's
And there's no one way.
right.
You just find what works best for you and you make adjustments and so forth.
Listen to the message coming from your body. And
Absolutely.
if you're not hearing it, she can help you out with it. Thank you so much for being here today. We got so much more to talk about next time we get together, right down to
Yes.
holistics, right down to what we should be eating, what herbology and all of that. Looking forward to it. Thanks again.
Oh, thank you, Steve. I really, truly appreciate this opportunity and look forward to getting together again next week.
Honestly, me too.
All
And I'm not going to
right.
say I can't wait because that's a negative statement. I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to it as well.
Yes,
All right.
looking forward. That's right.
Thank you. All right. We are
You're
coming
welcome.
right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcasts on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.